Good morning, people. This is Tony Rey-no from Two Wheel for Fun. I'm sure some of you have been asking, where is that ZX14 and how come I haven't been on it? Well, I was holding a little secret.
I think it's pretty cool, but okay, come on.
Yes, that's right. Maintenance issues that caused me to shorten my 2020 Euro tour. The bike was starting to sputter, so I figured I'd err on the side of caution and return home. After browsing the internet and many ZX14 forums, I narrowed the cause of my frustration down to a clogged fuel filter or a bad fuel pump. Now, I had my bike in for maintenance before the trip, but surprisingly, the fuel filter and/or the fuel pump is not on the routine maintenance schedule. I guess it's used to failure. So I ordered a complete fuel assembly to make my job easier. Basically, remove the old fuel pump and replace it with the new one. I'm talking the complete assembly. Now, maybe the issue was a clogged fuel filter, which is inside the fuel pump, located inside the fuel tank. But surprisingly, Kawasaki doesn't produce the fuel filter separately. But don't worry, I have found the fuel filter for the ZX14R, part number 49019-0013. It's actually located in this piece of equipment right here. I purchased it from Amazon for about $6 or something like that, maybe a little more, so don't quote me. But since my ZX14 has almost 50,000 miles on her, I figured I'd replace the entire pump assembly and save the filter for another day. And not to mention, since I was struggling to get home over a 2-day period, how much stress did I actually put on the fuel pump? So let's change this bad boy out. So first things first, refer to your Kawasaki maintenance manual and become familiar with the procedures you have to accomplish. I'm merely sharing what I did for my ZX14R. First, I siphoned the remaining fuel from the tank into a 5-liter gas can. Don't add more fuel to your bike thinking it's going to get better. For a fuel pump change, the less fuel you have in your bike, the better. Alright people, time for the boring part. Removing all of this stuff to get to the fuel pump. First up, removing the air duct fairings. And there's 3 screws, one here in the rear, one in the front, and then one up by the console here. And it's the same thing on the other side. One here, one in the front, and one down here. So I've already removed those screws. 3 each, 3 on each side, total of 6. And then once you've removed those on the fairing here, you want to pull in towards the bike and up. So you pull in and up like so, and that will just come off. I'm doing this with one hand, so pardon the angle. So there's one, and that's going to expose the air duct that has nothing to do with this video, so do not touch your air ducts. And then the other side, now when I pull this fairing off, it's probably gonna look a little different than yours, because I have some accessories on my bike that I put aftermarket, like the USB connections, the voltmeter and things like that. So when you pull your right air duct off, you are not going to see those attachments because you don't have them, unless you do, you know. And so that's what those 2 wires there are for. I can unplug those wires and put that to the side, but since I don't want to go through that, I'm just going to leave this hanging on the side. So the next part is the removing the gas tank cowling. This is a little plastic piece right here, and actually 3 bolts hold this on, one in the front here and one on this side, on the right side, and then one on the left side. All right, I've removed the screws from the gas tank cowling. One here and one on this side. So it's basically a total of three screws. One on the left side, one on the right, and then run in the top center where I showed you before. So for the cowling of the gas tank, there's 3 push pins in here that holds it in as well, because all of these fairings are interconnected some kind of way. So what you basically want to do is grab on the outside at the bottom like so, and kind of lift up and out at the same time, and it'll pop it. And again, refer to your owner's manual or service manual. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. You want to pull out and up like so. What I'm basically going to do is grab both sides of the fairing on the left and right side, pull out, push forward, and then pull it up to clear the gas tank. And voila, this is the gas tank fairing, this little plastic cover piece here. All right, and if you're looking inside, you see 2 attachment points. Well, those little attachment points are very, very important, because when you go to put the cowling back on, you have 2 clip points that slides into those connection points. A lot of people, when they put their fairing back on, they don't know of that, and they have those attachment points sitting on top of the grommets, and when you're connecting everything, that pushes it down and it doesn't get a real nice even seal. So that's something that you need to be leery of as well. I shouldn't have to say this, or I shouldn't have to film this part, but I'm going to anyway. But to remove the seat, you know, obviously put your key in here and turn it until you hear the latch pop. It's not going to be able to show because, again, one hand with the screw, or one hand with the key, one hand to lift the seat off. But all right, now that the seat is off, and these are the 2 screws on the bottom that hold the tank in, and then these 2 screws on top. I think those are 10mm bolts. So let's get this tank off and we'll get to the next step. All right, yes, they are 10mm bolts. Here you go, my trusty dusty ratchet here with a small extension, and I have that extension on there so I won't hit the gas tank, as you can see there. There, so if you didn't have that extension on there, the ratchet would probably knock against the tank. So all right, let's get those off, all of that. And obviously when I put the bike back together, obviously there are specific torque specifications that you have. I'm not going to go through all the torque specifications because those are in your service manual. If you don't have it, you should be able to get the exact torque specifications online somewhere, but I'm going to tighten it down to the specific torque specifications that I have in my manual, and I highly suggest that you do the same. All right, so now the next step is to take the tank, actually take all the actual hoses off, and get the tank out and put it on its back and start the procedure. So I will try to I'm gonna try to capture all of that here in a second. Okay, people, before removing the tank, there are a couple of electrical connections you have to remove. If you're following along with your maintenance manual, you should have no issues. But as a secondary precaution, take pictures of everything so you'll know how it's supposed to look when you put it back together. Towards the rear of the tank, you'll see these 2 connections. Both look the same, but one has red tape around it. Take a picture and disconnect. Next, you'll see two vent hoses at the rear of the tank. One here and the other here. Take a picture and remove the hoses from the tank. Next step is to lift and prop the tank up because you need to remove the fuel hose on the bottom, the one here with the orange clip. Take a picture and remove the hose. Once the hose is removed, keep in mind which way the valve is pointed. Or, once again, you can take a picture. After all hoses and connections are clear, lift the tank from the bike and place it on some padding. Be sure to have the rear of the tank supported against something sturdy so you'll have access to the fuel pump when you try to remove it. Anyway, have the screws right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the manual says remove them in a star-like pattern. So remove the top, then the adjacent bottom, then the side. So basically star pattern, so you'll get an even release of pressure. And then when you go to install the pump, you want to tighten the screws in the same manner, in a star pattern. So after those 5 screws are out, and also, might I add, want to be sure that your spigot here is facing to the left of the bike. I took pictures of it, so I'll know exactly how it goes in when I put the new one on. And this is just going to be an easy install for me because I purchased a complete new assembly. So it's the fuel pump, the fuel filter, and everything that comes with it directly from Kawasaki. So after I pull this one out, I'll just put the new one in, tighten it up, put the gas back in, tighten up all the bolts, and then go for a test run and see if I'm getting the same issues. All right, peeps, this is the new fuel pump that I'll be installing. There's the old one, and this is the new one. Next day over time, I don't know, maybe I'll order another filter and get this one all cleaned up. I just don't know how much further it has to go, having 50,000 miles on it. So I'm erring on the side of caution and putting this new one in, and this is directly from Kawasaki, no aftermarket part. So we'll see how it goes. This will probably be the end of the video because I won't show the reassembly of the bike, because for reassembly you just go in reverse order of what you did when you disassembled it. Once again, be sure to have your Kawasaki manual out so you can go step by step. It's not hard, it's a little tedious. Well, it's a little tedious if you're filming, trying to make a video of it. But if you're not filming and making a YouTube video, this will probably be about, I'm gonna say maybe a good hour and a half job. If you're a novice at maintenance, maybe 2 hours tops. Very easy. And again, people have been taking the fuel pump out, disassembling the fuel pump, and just changing fuel filter, which you can do. But with my ZX14 having almost 50,000 miles, I'm erring on the side of caution and just replacing the entire assembly. Where I ride and how I ride, the last thing I need is a malfunction of any sort, which I had on the 2020 tour. Luckily I caught it in time and I was able to get home. But yeah, so anyway, this is the removal of a fuel pump on my 2013 Kawasaki ZX14R. All right, there's the inside of the tank. So let's get this baby in, button it up, and call it a day. Like I say, I will not be filming the reassembly of the bike, because if you can disassemble the bike, then you should be able to reassemble the bike, right? Right? If not, follow your Kawasaki manual. Whew. Okay, sports fans, everything is together with the exception of the air duct fairings and the seat, as you can see there. I've double checked everything. All right, I just I spent the day putting in a new fuel pump, as you guys are already aware of, at least those who have been watching the video. So now I'm getting ready to go out and see if I can get above 4,000 RPM on this bike. Let me go to neutral, because I want to put this in full power mode and see what I get. Yep, got to get on the freeway, autostrada, and really open her up. Oh yeah, baby, 8,000 RPM and climbing. That is what I'm talking about. No sputter, no stutter, no jerkity jerk. Yeah. Tony Rey-no, over 50, still on 2 and loving it. All right, people, and I will say that definitely fixed the fuel issue. So if you have a, I would probably assume a Kawasaki ZX14 or ZX6R or ZX10 or any of the Ninjas, and it started bucking and sputtering and won't let you get past a certain RPM, 9 times out of 10 it's the fuel pump or the fuel filter, or maybe both. All right, peeps, I'll get with you guys later. This is Tony Rey-no, over 50, still on 2 and loving it. Peace.